How's it going, everybody? I'm Marshall. Welcome back to New Mexico State Men's Basketball News. This is probably the first video in a minute that we're not talking about, the current Aggies or about one of their games or anything like that, or a preview for their games. Today we're talking about some former Aggies. Wanted to make a video talking about that. The Aggies play tomorrow against the University of the Southwest. They're 7-6. They've lost two of their games, but they didn't count because they played against like D3, D2 schools. The game tomorrow doesn't count against their record, but it counts towards ours. So we should be able to take care of business and finish 7-6 on the non-conference. Just like Vanderbilt, they won today, finished 7-6. Former Aggie football player, legend, quarterback. Dago probably had a great game, 3 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing, probably his best game of the year. Only 116 passing yards, which isn't bad, but you think he'd have a little bit more with how great he played. And watching the game, looked like he had a lot more, but still played great overall. Good to see just former Aggies all over the place doing a lot of great things. But today, strictly former basketball players that played in Mexico State. I'm going to get into that, give you guys a lot of context on that. The video for tomorrow's game, the game analysis on that won't go out for a couple days later. I'll probably get it out by Tuesday, so at 3 days after the game, which isn't too bad, I would say. Sometimes that's what I've done. I'm going to be going to Portland tomorrow. I'm going to be there for a couple days, spend some time with family, play some basketball with some cousins. And we're actually going to the Blazers game on Monday. They play against the Philadelphia 76ers, so I'm not sure. I know Jared McCain's not going to be playing, so he's not going to be healthy, but might be able to see Paul George and Joel Embiid if they're healthy and able to play. Then obviously for the Blazers, see Scoot again. Want to see Anthony Simons, Denny Avdia, Shaden Sharp, DeAndre Ayton. There's a lot of injuries last time, so I was able to see Scoot go off, but I didn't see a lot of our main guys. So we're going to see them all play. Going to go watch them with my cousins and brother Zane, so that'll be awesome. It's funny because my cousin, he was able to get his tickets for that game. There was also a chance we could have gotten the game yesterday. It just didn't work out, but they got the win. Squid had a game winner, so it'd been cool to see that live. My friend Nate went there, so that's awesome. And Squid Game Season 2 came out yesterday, so that was fun to watch. If you guys saw that, let me know what you guys thought about the season. I thought it was pretty good. Not as great as Season 1, but I still thought it was pretty good. I know we're not talking about basketball right now, but we will get into that. Just kind of want to update you guys with some things and let you guys know why he won't be seeing the video right after that game, like the next day or anything like that, like you guys saw the last video. But let's get into this video and talk about some former Aggies. So first things first, I don't think you can start this video without Trevelyan Queen, who's been playing really great. Other than Pascal Siakam, he's looked like the best Aggie, after his college career. It's arguable to say who the best Aggie of all time is because if you look at just being an Aggie, but as far as their careers afterwards and how far they've gone, Trevelyan's definitely number 2. That made no sense. Number 2 behind Pascal. Pascal, he's averaging 20-something a game for the Pacers, doing some good things. Pacers probably aren't doing as good as they want to do, but he's still playing really well, balling out. But I know he can definitely improve. His stats are a little bit less than last year, but I know he'll improve and play very well come playoff time, assuming they make the playoffs, which I think they will. The Bucks also kind of got to a slow start, but they're doing better now. I'm sure the Pacers will start doing better. The Magic, Trevelyan Queen's team, they're looking really good. I think it'd be really cool if we saw a Pacers versus Magic playoff series, whether that's like in the first round, second round, or something like that. I think that'd be awesome to see two former Aggies going at it. Pascal's obviously a starter. Trevelyan started a couple games. He started against the Celtics, his first start of his career against the defending champs. Scored 17 points, which is a career high. I think he had 3 assists and a rebound, or maybe it was 3 rebounds and assists. I can't remember the exact stat line. But he played really good nonetheless. Shot very well from the field, like 5 for 9. Super efficient. He takes really smart shots. He can shoot the 3-ball well. He had some, moments watching those games where I was like, dang, miss him on the Aggies. It'd been cool if he would have got a tournament win with us, and I was, talking to some people about that in the comment sections of my videos and just in general in person as well. I know he airballed that 3 to tie it up, but that was a really tough shot, and it just wasn't going to go in regardless. I think free throws screwed us up in that game, but he went, I think, like 20 points that game, 6 threes against Auburn in 2019, but our football team made it up for the win last year, the upset win. Right now in the season, he's averaging around 6 points a game, but as a starter in the past couple of games, he's averaging like double digits. So I definitely think, the more minutes he gets, and he hasn't played that many games yet, so he can definitely get his average up to double digits. I think he's a double-digit scoring machine if he's given the correct amount of minutes. He can be a guy that plays 20 to 30 minutes a game. I don't think it's crazy to say that. He's balling on the G League, average like 22, 24 points a game. I think he deserves to be a solidified spot on the Magic. Starting, he can definitely, again, he's a starter caliber player, I think. But the Magic are a really good young team. He came to the bench his last game at 8 points. They lost by 20-something. I could totally see him being a starter, but at the same time, I feel like he also be really good coming to the bench. He just second unit really well. I would love to have him on the Blazers, but I don't know how great he would develop just because of Chauncey not being a great coach. He's taking some time off because his grandma passed away, sadly. But our assistant coach did a good job helping him to get the win last night. As I mentioned before, Serge Jabari Rice and Juwan Gordon. Serge Jabari Rice was here for 5 years, redshirt a year, and then went to Texas for his last year. And while he was at Texas, when we had Juwan Gordon, He was on the team when it was the hazing year, but he had nothing to do with it, and he was one of the more loved players out of that team, and there wasn't a whole lot of loved guys because everything that went down. But I really liked his game, talked to him a couple times, super cool and chill dude, and he's just doing really great in the G League. He's looking even better in the G League than he did in college. Like, when he was playing with us and, like, other programs, he wasn't bad, but I wouldn't look at him, though. He's a future NBA player, professional for sure overseas. And then, I was going to say Texas, got confused with Rice. He was at UT Arlington and helped them be really successful in the WAC. They almost won it, but they lost to GCU the championship game, unfortunately. And everyone, all Aggie fans hate GCU because they think they're a rival, and they think they're like, we own them. We own them in basketball. They're not a real school. They don't have a football team. Come on now. Not saying that if you don't have a football team, you're not a real school, but we just like talking crap to them. They're an online school is my point, but let's stop talking about them. Let's talk about DeJuan. He's doing really good in the G League. He's averaging, I think, 15 points a game for the South Bay Lakers. He's had a lot of great games, scoring over 20 points. Teammates with Bronny, obviously Rice too. All of them seem to get along pretty well when they're playing. I think Rice threw a lob to Bronny one of the games, and DeJuan always hypes up Bronny when he's playing good. So those guys are super good. And Bronny's also playing about the same skill level as them. So I think DeJuan Gordon and Serge Rice are NBA caliber players. So for people to say, like, oh, Bronny's not an NBA caliber player, he doesn't deserve to be in the NBA, he's playing just as well as some guys that deserve to be in the NBA as well. So you can't really say that, I'm obviously going to be biased towards the former Aggies, think that they're better. But I do think that they're deserving to be on an NBA roster spot. I think they'll get it eventually. Rice obviously was in the NBA with the Spurs, never played an actual game, but he played in the preseason with them, played in the summer league with them, and was the 17th player to come from New Mexico State to the NBA. I think that number can definitely rise. I'm not sure if anybody from this current team could. I guess if anybody were to, it would be Cook. I mean, the dude's averaging like 15 points a game. I'm not sure what his plans are for his future. Again, he's one of those guys kind of like DeJuan Gordon. I don't look at him and think that he's an NBA player. But DeJuan proved me wrong. Or, he's in the G League balling out. He's shown that he deserves in the NBA. And he entered the draft, I think, backed out. Played in the TBT for the Purple Rain. Former Kansas State player. He used to play there actually with Casey, who was on the team last year. So they actually knew each other, which is pretty cool. And Davion Bradford also played there. We got all the guys from Kansas State to play for us. Well, Davion didn't technically play. He redshirted the year because, he wasn't eligible to play for whatever reason. But now he's playing at like East Tennessee, I think, doing pretty good over there. Teddy's averaging about 12.5 points, about 4.5 rebounds for the Vipers in the G League. The Rio Grande Valley Vipers, I think is how you say it all. Made some posts on him. He's playing pretty well, and I think he's also an NBA caliber player too. But just his play style, might not work out. If you guys know Teddy, you guys know how he plays. Can take a lot of bad shots at times, so he also makes a lot of them. I remember one of the commentators said he's a bad shot taker, bad shot maker, which I guess, is a good way to explain it. That's why I always loved. I wish we could have kept him, and it would be funny to see him like come back, because he technically has a year of eligibility left for college. Well, obviously, he's not going to come back. There's no way that could happen. Pretty much impossible to happen. He's already playing professional. I don't know how you fit in Coach Hoon's system, because, Coach Jan's a great coach, kind of let Teddy do his thing. Coach Hoon's a great coach also, but I just don't know how Teddy would fit into his system if that were to happen. Obviously, it's never going to happen, but it's just a fun reality, or not reality. It's like kind of a fun like fantasy I like to think in my head. I think all those guys have chances to play in the NBA. I'm going to be optimistic and, say they are going to make it. Do I know when? Not sure. And do I know what teams? I mean, Teddy's with the Vipers, and they're the direct affiliate of the Rockets, so I would assume them. And then Rice and DeJuan, obviously, with the Lakers. But the Lakers, they get everybody. Like, they're talking about getting my boy Markelle Fultz. You just never know. I wouldn't mind, the Blazers picking him up. I know Xavier Pinson, who's also part of that hazing year team. He's also playing the G League. Not sure how great he's doing, but he actually played for the Remix, so there's a chance I guess the Blazers could have picked him up if they wanted. Again, he wasn't part of anything either in that hazing scandal stuff. But just not really keeping up with him. I haven't really checked on him a lot. But I remember last time, I think he wasn't doing anything too crazy special in the G League, but he also wasn't like a liability. Played for a couple different teams. I know he's trying to work his way to the NBA as well. He entered the draft in 2023, didn't get drafted. But maybe he has a chance to, you never know. He was our leading scorer that year, arguably our best player. And DeJuan, arguably the most loved player from that team. So even though that year wasn't great, still good to see some guys, make some good out of it in the future. And then from other great teams that we had prior to that, like Teddy and Rice doing the thing, and then seeing Queen and Pascal. Like, at first it was just Pascal was like really the only main NBA player that was doing his thing. Trevon was in it as well, but he wasn't really getting a whole lot of PT. He was more just a G League legend. But now he's proven that he can dog out in the NBA. And a lot of people love Queen. A lot of people didn't know who he was until that game. They're like, oh, who's this random guy? He's not a random guy. He had his New Mexico State legend, Trevon Queen, doing his thing. Yeah, that's all I want to talk about today. Those are the former Aggies I really want to touch on, the guys that are in the G League or the NBA doing their thing. Those other guys playing professionally, like Jordan Rawls and Casey. Jordan Rawls actually playing very well. I think he had a 30 bomb the other day. He's putting up some good stats professionally. Casey, I remember he's not doing too great. He started off pretty well, hasn't been playing great recently for Rapala KK. He's saying like the KKK or something like that, but he's playing pretty well for the most part. He started off he's good, and then he started out playing great, but I think he's playing better recently. So hopefully those guys are just giving more opportunities to play well professionally. I mean, hey, you're getting paid to play basketball and do what you love. You can never complain about that, whether you're playing a lot or not. It's just great to see those guys doing great things professionally. Most Division I athletes can definitely go the professional route. Guys like Femi Dukali right now at Minnesota, he's playing pretty well. He started off the season really bad, but he's been picking it up. He's averaging over 5 points a game right now, which might not seem like a lot, but playing at Minnesota in the Big Ten Conference, pretty solid. And he started off only averaging like 2 points a game for the first like 7-8 games, and he's been picking up the past, half of the season. Not I wouldn't say half of the season, but the first half of the season up to far. The first half of non-conference play wasn't playing great. Now he's starting to play a lot better, and we'll see if he continues to play better because he's definitely a high level Power 5 player. Some guys on our team that I think are all Power 5 players as well, but I'm glad that they're here. Really excited for the future of this team, obviously. Tanaj Petway, Jalen Jackson Posey, also guys who played for the Aggies last year at different colleges. Jalen Jackson Posey is playing at HBCU, Texas Southern. He hasn't playing great. He's had some good games, but he's had a lot of bad games, so hopefully he can step it up. Really rooting for his success and for him to do a lot of great things because he was a pretty solid point guard for us. Just a great guy to get things rolling. Now we have Zadi Jackson, got the number 2s mixed up. They're running point. They're doing a lot of great things with that. Tanaj is also balling out, scoring a lot of points. I think he's averaging like 14, 15 points a game. Just not getting a whole lot of wins right now for Prairie View, A&M, and Texas. But hopefully he can, start getting some wins and continue to play the way he is because he's definitely not the reason they're losing games. I think they've only won like 1 or 2 games this year, but he's balling out. Let me know if there's anybody I missed that you guys want me to touch on in the future or talk about in the comment section. I'm definitely up for hearing about that. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I really appreciate you guys for watching it, and I'm out.